Greetings and welcome to another episode of Joe Lum's album review. This week I'm reviewing an album that just got released 10 days ago. Heaven Comes Down is Dokken's 12th studio effort, released on October 27th for Silver Lining Music. This one piqued my interest due to the insane amount of views of the video Fugitive that came out, and I believe it did over 500,000 views, approximately 675,000 plus. If you remember or have been watching my album ranking series a month ago, I ranked the first 6 Dokken albums. The most recent Dokken album I purchased was 1999's Erase the Slate, which featured Red Beach on guitar. Since then, I have not listened to Dokken's previous efforts like 2002's Long Way Home, 2004's Hell to Pay, 2008's Lightning Strikes Again, and 2012's Broken Bones. The reason behind me purchasing Erase the Slate was the awesome guitar playing ability of Red Beach, known for his work in bands like Winger and Whitesnake. Long Way Home featured John Norum on guitars. John Norum is known for being a founding member and guitarist of the band Europe. Barry Sparks plays bass on the album, replacing longtime bassist Jeff Pilson, and of course Mick Brown's on drums. Sparks and Brown played rhythm section on Hell to Pay, which marked the debut of guitarist John Levin. Now, John Levin played guitar for a German rock band called Warlock. But once grunge took over, which he hated, he took a break from that and became an entertainment lawyer, serving as legal counsel for Jim Paitis of Paitis Management. I bet Don Dokken hired him to represent him and his band when George Lynch sued the band after he was fired. Anyway, Don Dokken kept John Levin, Barry Sparks, and Mick Brown on 2008's Lightning Strikes Again. That album will be the last for Barry and Mick. Mick would eventually retire from drumming and touring with Dokken all those years. Then their previous record, Broken Bones, which is the only Don Dokken album to feature bassist Sean McNabb, who previously worked in the band Great White, and drummer Jimmy DeGrasso, whose only claim to fame was replacing Nick Menza in Megadeth. Over the past number of years since Broken Bones, the classic Dokken lineup performed several shows in Japan at the end of October in 2016, and one U.S. show at the end of September. Since then, the Japan shows were a one-time thing, according to Don himself. In 2020, Dokken released the Lost Songs 1978 to 1981, featuring some unreleased material never seen on any Dokken albums prior to the release of the first record, Breaking the Chains. Don Dokken himself underwent some health issues. In 2010, he underwent vocal surgery to correct nods and tears in his vocal cords. In his early days, Don was known for his vibrato Latin melodic vocal sound, which made Dokken a household name in the 80s hair metal scene. He also underwent treatment for cancer around the same time. He has managed to recover, and his voice had improved over the years. Then he underwent neck surgery, and because of that, he was never allowed to play the guitar again, due to the loss of feeling in his hand. When writing and recording for Heaven Comes Down, all the songs were written by Don Dokken and John Levin, except for 2 songs written by Don himself. The Dokken lineup for this record not only included Don and John, but 2 veteran players, bassist Chris McCarville and drummer B.J. Zampa. Both of them played for the late 80s, early 90s band House of Lords. Produced by Bill Palmer and Don Dokken, and mixed by Kevin Shirley. It should be noted that I had just listened to this album in its entirety before I started this episode, and I have to admit, this is Dokken's best effort since the Under Lock and Key Back for the Attack era, where they were at their creative peak. Let's look at the track listings. As I stated earlier, a lot of the songs were written by Dokken and Levin except for 2 songs. The first track, Fugitive, a song written by Don, clocking in at 3:57. Next, it's Gypsy, clocking in at 4:20. Is It Me or Is It You clocking in at 423. Just Like a Rose clocking in at 420. I'll Never Give Up clocking in at 428. Saving Grace clocking in at 416. Over the Mountain clocking in at 359. I Remember clocking in at 348. Lost in You clocking in at 411. And the closing track written by Don Dokken himself called Santa Fe clocking in at 425. My overall rating for Dokken's Heaven Comes Down is an 85 out of 100. Out of all the Dokken albums released in the 21st century, this one reminded me a lot of the classic Dokken era when it came to commercial success with Tooth and Nail and Under Lock and Key. But that's just my modest opinion. What's yours? Feel free to leave a comment below in the comments section. Until next week, this has been Joe Lump's Album Review.
Don't